Hello everyone and welcome back to another Thomas the Tank Engine video, or I guess maybe I should say Thomas and Friends video, because here we have my first CGI original character, Philip, the diesel box cab. I know a lot of people are indifferent about this character. Some people love him, think he's adorable. Other people find him super annoying. For me personally, the character grew on me when I didn't initially see him in his debut episode. I saw him in some other episodes he was in later on from his initial reveal, and I found the character extremely annoying as well. As I went on and I watched other episodes, I watched his origin episode, I kind of got a feel for the character. I understood the character, and I really liked him. The way I look at him is, if Thomas the Tank Engine, Thomas and Friends was come to television for the first time today, that's what Thomas would be like. If you go back to Thomas's earlier episodes, kind of earlier, he's young, he's cheeky. He's still cheeky now, but this is the way I look at it. I look at almost as when Phillips introduced, Thomas is a little older, a little bit more mature. He's still young, compared to Gordon and Henry and Edward. But then you bring Philip in, who's even younger, and I think that's kind of what they went with. I like him. Like I said, the character grew on me, but however you feel about the character Philip, let's talk about my Lego model, or the Lego model we see in front of us. I have two complaints about this model. One, it's upscaled. When you put it next to the other characters I built, he is big. He's a little too big for the rest of the locomotives I have built, but going up to this scale, upscaling him a little bit from what he should be proportionally, I'm able to get in the detail. I'm able to make it look right. My second complaint is, though you could put a figure inside Philip as a driver, there's no specific spot designated for him. Kind of like Diesel, where there is a spot, obviously you have to build a cab on Diesel. But I was saying, like, if you were to open it up, there's nothing inside, there's no detailing. Same here with Philip. He is empty on the inside, but there's no detail on the inside. When we look at this model, I think one of the big things people are going to notice right out of the bat is the dark green and yellow color scheme. That is Philip's color scheme, as we know. And I was really lucky to have all these parts on hand. I did not have to order a single part in. I had the wheels, I had the buffers, I've had all the dark green, I had the stickers already, I had what I needed for the lamp, needed for the roof. All of it I had on hand. I did not have to order in, especially in these times of us being in quarantine here in the United States. We're on our 2-3 week lockdown. I think we've kind of moved into the second week now, so we're about 2 weeks left. You don't really want to order anything in, or you just can't go out and get parts. So the big goal with Philip was to build with what I had. So will I go back and change this model, make modifications? Possibly, and that's because of that reasons, because I built with only parts on hand. But the nice part is, I built it with parts on hand. It didn't cost me anything. Whether I had the parts in my collections for 4 years or 4 days, I had it in my collection, and I didn't have to go out and order anything. Right away, I want to talk about the sticker placement as well, kind of before we break down, talk about more, is they're a little off. They're a little wonky. This 8 has a little chunk taken out of it at the top, as you might be able to see there. And when I turn this one around, this one's the big one. Anyone who built with Lego for a long time, and you pull out those sets from when you were a kid, and you're like, oh, I remember this, and then you're like, what did I do with those stickers, man? Yeah, I'm like, way off, too far one way, too far the other, almost upside down. You can kind of see here the 6 is a little lower than the 8. It's just what happened. I'm using non-Lego stickers. So I went to Joann's weeks ago. I bought a sticker sheet with numbers on it so I could use them for various models and various things I did. So, yes, the stickers are a little off, and, feel free to knock me for it, but it's just what happens. One of my favorite parts about the build, though, is the backside of Philip. Philip is curved around the backside. His class that he's designed and based off of is curved in the back but square everywhere else. And it took me a little bit to figure out how I wanted to do that. Because I don't think they offered it's a 1x2 curve piece. I don't think they offer that in dark green. I'm pretty sure they, or earth green. I know they offer it in yellow, but they didn't offer it in the earth green as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. I didn't do a lot of research, but I just know I didn't have any in my collection, so I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? Well, after buying several shrimp boats and some other sets, I have these kind of those bow pieces, 2x2 bow pieces, and that's what I used, creating a nice curved area around. Yeah, it sits in a little bit, but that was a sacrifice I was willing to make because overall, it looks nice. It really does. I'm very proud of this model because of that. Challenging myself to build the curved back without having curved bricks. I have curved plates or tiles, but not curved bricks. Phillips Face is done very similar to Diesel, so where I didn't use any curved bow pieces or plate pieces. All of them are flat. Originally, I had his face scaled down a little bit, and that's back when, too, I was trying to make the model a little smaller, and I liked the original size that I chose for the face. I just couldn't get a nose in, and that was it. Like, pretty much, I could get the eyes and I could get the mouth, but I couldn't get the nose. And a big thing, obviously, with these characters is the nose. So I went ahead, as I realized I had to upscale the model for other reasons, I went ahead and built a larger face, giving us all the detail we need to see Philip's smiling little face. On the front here, the buffer beams, when you pick them up, for those of you who know the character, they does have the curved or angled buffer beam, and that's what I wanted to be sure I captured. That was a big part of building this model. Obviously, I could just go with the regular straight all the way across, but that wasn't going to cut it, or I could have even just done with straight across and then the extra one coming down. But no, I want to get those in. I took parts from a Speed Champion set I had duplicates of, giving me those angled plates. Philip also has this little grill up front. And one of the last things I want to talk about is the roof. We have this kind of dome back here. I'm not sure what it's used for. In a lot of photos you see of Philip, you might not even know it's there. But it's on top. I'm not sure what it's for, but it's up there. Then we have the little smokestack or exhaust stack. Another part I almost missed on the character. If you just glance at the model or the character, you might miss it. But I did see it after doing some hard staring, making sure I don't miss any detail. It's on there, and I just used a little, I call it a trophy base. That's what I used for there. When we get to the front of Philip's roof, you'll notice a couple things. He's got the lamp. Anyone who knows the character knows he's got this big lamp up on front. And part of me wanted to go bigger with the lamp. This is one of those characters where you almost kind of want to build him cartoonish because he's got that cartoonish vibe to him. So I almost went with a lamp this size, but I thought against it, mainly because of the parts or the colors I had. In the Hogwarts Express, that's just a set I can think of right now. When you do the buffers, you got these kind of dark chrome or shiny dull chrome pieces, and I thought those were an excellent choice to use for his lamp. And I was like, okay, I'll downsize the lamp, I'll use these parts, and it just looks perfect. Again, it looks a little small, but I think the other one would have looked a little too big, and I think this is the better choice, at least personally, with the parts I had on hand and the color options. Lastly, when you look at Philip on the front, he's kind of got this part of the roof that sits up. He has got his main roof, then he's got this little gap, and then he's got this other section of his roof, which is, you can kind of see where the lamp kind of sits in and is mounted to. So I was going back and forth. Do I want to make it curved like it is in the model? If I make it curved, is it going to be too big? And that's what happened. When I tried to go and make it curved, it just became too thick up top, and it just looked odd. So I went ahead, as with the rest of the roof, I used minifigure stands to build the rest of Philip. Alright, so that's pretty much all of Philip, other than if we look at the back here, you can kind of see how I did the curves. I just brought it in, narrowed it in, and then used plates to round it out. But otherwise, that is the rest of Philip. I'm sorry this was a long video for such a small character. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I felt a little off today as I recorded, I'll admit it. I felt a little off. I did want to talk about everything in this model, but I want to thank you all for watching. Again, you can't comment on my videos, so please like. It'll tell me how much you enjoy these videos. Once again, my link to my Instagram and my email will be in the descriptions. Everyone, I will see you in my next video.